It's a nice sunny day here at the Montana garage. Thanksgiving weekend. Trey's having a couple of issues with his truck. It's making a little bit of noise, so we're going to go on a test drive. I got to run into town real quick, so I'm going to take the Squarebody, take you guys along for a short ride. And then the noise only happens when the hubs are locked in, so once we get back, we'll lock the hubs in and see what kind of noise we're dealing with. Kind of nice, I can actually hear myself thinking here. I don't know if you guys remember back on, I don't know if it was on a YouTube video or maybe it was just on Instagram. I showed it. One of the first things, well, that wasn't one of the first things, but one of the things Trey did after a while of having the truck, he thought it was too quiet, so we cut the exhaust off. So then he had, he's going for loud. Basically just open headers for about a year, and he got tired of that, and so we finally had an exhaust put on it. So now it's nice and quiet in the cab, but it sounds pretty good on the outside. He's got just, you know, headers off a small block and then some sort of glass pack type muffler on it. So sounds good if you get on it, but doesn't rattle your brain while you're driving it. So all right, well, I got a little problem here. I don't have a metal dash like I have in the 57 Chevy, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this camera sit up here, but let's go for a short ride. Plus, I got a shift, so I can't really hold it. Need some of them fancy suction cup mounts, and probably be nice if Trey wash his windshield too. Usually we have a lot more snow by now. I don't know if it's usual, but I guess most times. Snow's been a little, we've had some cold weather, but we haven't had a ton of snow. A little bit of snow up there in the mountains. I just dug the snowmobiles out from behind in the backyard because we got to get ready to start using them pretty soon. Usually here, snow's a little light in the beginning of December, but usually it's January before we're really fired up and going a lot, but you never know, we could get dumped on any day. All right, we're back home from our little grocery run. Let's lock his hubs in. Looks like we got a little bit of a leaky seal on this bad boy we'll have to look into. I've already heard this noise and I think I already know what it is, but I'll take you guys for just a short ride here and you'll see what it is too, or you'll hear it and you can tell me what you think it is. Alright, so we just went into town. No funky noises at all. I mean, nothing you wouldn't expect from an old truck anyways. All good. And last time I did it, you couldn't really hear it in reverse. So yeah, we're reversing. Maybe if you get on it, it does it. You heard one little gunk there. So we got some noise coming from the transmission tunnel area. Once we get going in a forward direction here. Doesn't take long to hear the noise. Yeah, so that's not right. So what we've done is we replaced the clutch in this thing. Probably, I don't know, sometime this summer. And he's been driving it ever since and no problems. Well, now the snow started flying, so we had to lock the hubs in the other day. And yeah, that's what you get when you lock the hubs in. which is, that's no good. So like I said, I already kind of know what it is, and I know we're not doing any serious damage by making the noise here a little bit more, so I thought I'd let you guys listen to it, and then we'll crawl under the truck here, see if we can show you what it is. What do you think it is? So obviously we got a lift kit. I think it's got a 4-inch lift. We did that maybe last year. And then, like I said, not too long ago, we replaced the clutch, and he's been driving it with no issues. But then once you lock the hubs in, and yeah, this thing's been leaking oil, and that obviously has gotten worse. So we'll have to look into that. I think it's just leaking from the valve cover, so we got to replace the valve cover gaskets. But it used to just leak a little bit, but now the thing is pretty darn oily, so I'll have to have Trey check into that. But anyways, our noise. So with the lift kit, you get these little spacers to drop the transmission cross member down, just to, I think it helps with the angles, drive shaft angles. But it doesn't change. What's happening is the velocity joint, or whatever you call the U-joint here, and I got it still locked in, so I can't turn it, but there's barely any clearance here. Barely any clearance. And when you get on it, or when you drive it, it must torque it down just enough to where, I think it's not this part, but this part is hitting the bracket, and it's also hitting, you can see the some marks on it in the back here. Anyways, we're not in the right orientation, but basically the CV joint here, the U joints, whatever it's called, is hitting this transmission cross member. And you know, putting the lift kit in and dropping this down shouldn't change any of that. So the only thing I can figure is what's happening is our rubber transmission mounts are, you know, just a hair squished out more than they need to be. They do make some poly mounts, and maybe we'll end up going with that. But for now, I'm going to try to just take these bolts out of here, jack the transmission up, and put a couple washers either underneath the pads or on top of them, depending on how it looks like it's going to hold it in place best. Like I said, eventually we should probably replace these. I can see they're a little squished out, and I'm assuming that's what's causing this to just be a little closer. So I got to go grab a jack and a block of wood, a couple wrenches, and we'll try to jack this up, throw some washers, something in here, create a little more space, and see if that'll be able to, you know, let him keep driving the truck or locking the hubs in with the snow and be able to use 4-wheel drive. And eventually, next time I order some stuff, we'll maybe order some new. It's like 70 bucks for poly bushings. They're a lot cheaper for just the stock ones, but probably go with some poly ones eventually. But let's see if we can make it work kind of temporarily. I don't think this is going to go high enough to really do. Well, get it on the transfer case. I'm pretty sure we had to have a block of wood under here when we were messing with it, when we were doing the clutch. And I was right. Let's go find a block. This looks like a block that's been used once or twice, or maybe 100 times to jack some stuff up. That ought to work. Everything is covered in oil, dang it. Alright, all I got to be able to do is support the transmission a little bit so I can lift it up and get these nuts out of here, so that ought to do the trick. Alright, what size are these bad boys? Go get some tools. That's what I thought. 3/4. Let's see, there's not a nut on the top. It just screws into the train. Well, I remember when I put this together, I sucked these down pretty good. I might have just tightened them up too much and squished out the rubber mounts. But I'll try to put a little spacer in there somehow. Guess I need to be smart like everybody else and get a little bzz, bzz. Alright, so the rubber mounts fit down in here, so I don't want to, you know, put a spacer in there and lift those rubber things out of there probably. So I'm going to see if I can create some space up here above. See what happens. Alright, so I don't know if you can see that, but a couple cranks on the jack, and now we got some space between the rubber bushings and the transmission. Let's see, how far up do these steel sleeves in the lower mounts go? They don't go up in there, so I think what I'm going to do is just try to throw a couple washers in here. See if I can go find a couple thick washers and see what happens with that. Alright, so there's what I came up with. I got 4 pretty thick washers. That ought to raise this up about 3/16 or so, maybe. So I gotta get this back in there and then put the washer. I'm gonna put the washers right in that gap, and hopefully that's gonna do the trick. Let me see if I can get the camera set up somewhere and get to work. All right, I think you're upside down right there, but I'll use my superior editing skills to flip us over, hopefully. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Not much to see, I guess. See if I can get it all lined up again. Will be the biggest problem, I guess. Especially with the 2 different size washers. Okay, got that one started. They're both in there. Try number 2. Easy peasy. Dude, that sun is a bright one. I shouldn't be complaining about the nice warm sun on a late November day in Montana, though. Ah. Scared me. I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm doing on this one. Not much to see. Tightening a bolt. Looking at the sun, blinding myself. Alright, one let the old jack down. Alright, now I didn't take a measurement or nothing, but we definitely have more space here now than we had before. If I look at our mounts, got those washers under there. A guy could have maybe got away with one, but I don't see how that's going to you know, cause any issues. I mean, it's still locked in place on this cross member. Just raised her up just a hair. Got the little bolt sticking out there, nothing on that one. Let me make sure that side's tight enough. Seemed like it was tight. That one just kind of got as tight as it wants to go anyways. All right, test drive time. All right, pretty sure I left the hubs locked in. So we'll find out shortly if our little fix worked. No noise in reverse, but it didn't make the noise in reverse before. Pretty confident there should be no noise now. If I can get a clutchless shift here. I like shifting this thing without the clutch for some reason. All right, no ka-gunk coming from the transmission tunnel anymore. So I think we found a way to make this work. Like I said, I will probably, I don't know. I don't see where what I did is going to cause any issues, but having the spacer in there and having that not locked in just the same as it was with those bushings, probably a good idea would be to buy those poly bushings just to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. But we might just let it roll like this. We'll see. Just another thing to spend money on that I'm not sure we have to. But let me know what you think. If I'm creating any issues by my little freebie fix here. But anyways, I guess that's it for Squarebody stuff today. Thanks for following along as usual here at the Montana Garage. And front suspension parts, the remaining ones are supposed to ship next week. So hopefully I'll be back soon with a video turning the 55 frame into a roller finally. So thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Don't forget we got memberships if you're into that sort of thing. And we'll see you on the next one.